Cancers, let's review. And let's start at basics. Because there's two major dynamics of a Cancer. Major, like basic, fundamental building block cornerstones of Cancer. Number one, we are a water sign. Number two, we are a cardinal sign. Number three, our ruling luminary is the moon. I was about to say the sun. It's not the sun. It's the moon. Okay. Very basic. This is like Cancer 101, right? And let me apologize ahead of time. If I start yelling during this reading, it's because I'm yelling at myself. And I'm fucking staring at myself as I'm recording, because I'm recording on my phone. So it's like I had this aha moment. And remember, I'm Cancer Sun, Cancer Moon, Cancer Jupiter, and Cancer is in my midhaven is at Cancer. You know, I'm Cancer Sun, first house. I mean, I'm sorry, 10th house. It's craziness, but it is me. And so when I'm saying this to you, there's so much insight that is behind it. And it's also me yelling at me. So I'm not really yelling at you. I'm yelling at me and you're watching. We are a great big mesh up of contradictions. Number one, let's go back to water sign. We're very emotional and we want love. We hold on. We care. We love. We want the connection with other people, right? Number one. But we are also a cardinal sign, which means what? We're competitive as fuck. We want progress. We want forward motion. We want things to happen. We want to see results. Cardinal signs, all of us, yes, even Libras, get very freaking impatient. Not with other people's subject matters, but with our own subject matter. So when it comes to nurturing and love and healing and caring, we get extremely impatient when shit does not move forward. Okay? Very impatient, especially when that happens with our own lives, in our own lives. Very frustrating. The moon is an interesting creature because it doesn't have light of its own. It's basically a big old reflector out there in space. But boy, oh boy, does it have a pull, right? It moves our frickin' oceans. It's like this one planetary body that, like, I feel like, and I'm going to say this, people will disagree, astrology and astronomy agree on, if they can agree on one thing, it's the fucking moon. There is just this pull that it has on the water on our globe, right? They can see that. What they haven't been able to confirm is its pull on us, not just because we're made of water, but how it affects us emotionally, how its patterns, how its vibrations could have an impact on us emotionally. They have not been able to prove that. Okay, that's fine. I'm not a scientist. I'm not trying to be. But it's so obvious that the moon has a pull on oceans. That's true. And if the moon can pull on the oceans, not our emotions, forget about that. I'm saying how strong, it, like representatively, metaphorically, think how strong it is. Even though it doesn't light up its own sky, it doesn't have its own light, it's not even a fucking planet. But it has influence. Subtle influence, dark influence, influence that's sometimes completely hidden, especially during the new moon. Oh boy, does it have influence. So do we. The hardest time to see when we have influence is on ourselves. So, what does that mean? Remember, we are a water sign, but we are almost like the beach. Think about that. We're represented by the crab. Oh, in Egyptian culture, we used to be represented by the dung beetle. We are a creature that floats between two different planes of existence. But we like to have those two planes of existence close to us, near us at all. We don't like to get washed out to sea, and we don't like to be dried up on land. We like that little happy medium, And when we're pushed and pulled in different directions, it is extremely uncomfortable for us. And then you get evil Cancer. Right? When we get uncomfortable, we get defensive, we get bitchy, we get crabby, we get irritable, we get accusatory, and we start to rip and push and pull on other people because we're missing the push and pull of our very happy little tidal area. We actually enjoy the push and pull. That's what the tide is. It's a push and pull area. You know, there are waves crashing, there is water receding, there are little happy pools sometimes, right? There's all that ebb and flow and change. But when we're just like surrounded by nothing but water, or we're surrounded by nothing but sand or dirt, or we should never be high up on a mountaintop, right? There's such a discomfort for us. There's such an unhappiness. And so in our lives, as in with everybody's lives, it is so important for us as creatures of the tide to take responsibility for keeping ourselves in that area that is most healthy for us. And lots of times, because of our extreme pull of the cardinal energy versus the water energy, versus the moon energy, all these pulls on us, and we are pulled in many different directions, right? That's us, controlled by the tide. We're the tide, we're the moon, right? Constant push and pull. We feel it so intently. We need to be a lot nicer to ourselves and stop pulling on ourselves because we got enough shit pulling on us. Now, why do I say this? We have been so intent on getting one thing done that we have ignored completely another part of ourselves. And Cancers, Scorpios, they're built for the extremes. Pisces, they're just built for emotion. We're not built for those. We're built for that fine line in between. And yeah, that gives us less room to play in, but it is our unique area of existence. And that's a constant reminder that balance for us and for all cardinal signs, which, hello, is why Libra is a cardinal sign, is particularly difficult and particularly important. We have become unbalanced because we have become so driven in one area that we have ignored and thrown into crisis another. And for different Cancerians, it's different things. Some of you have thrown yourself obsessively into the waters, into your emotions, into your feelings, into needing to be loved. Others, and I'm there with you, have thrown yourself completely onto land and been like, I'm going to make money, I'm going to do business, I'm going to succeed. Neither one of us is succeeding because we are not the creature of the rock. We are not an earth sign. We are not pragmatic. We do not know how to run that shit. And we are not creatures of the full-on ocean. We would get lost and we would drown. We need to bring ourselves back to the tide. The ebb and flow, the push and pull, things changing constantly. I mean, think about it. The moon is in a different zodiac energy every 2.5 days. For us, things are constantly changing. They need to be constantly changing. They need to be the waves and the tide. They need it. We need it. We have, in some ways, polarized ourselves. And this is how you know. Because what we're experiencing is we are literally, bam, bam, impasse. An impasse. Bam, an impasse. You know how much fucking mountains came out? Every goddamn time? Mountains, an impasse, an impasse, an impasse, mountains. What you need to get back to is your nature. Your nature. What is your nature? The water and the earth. Your health. You're not healthy. You're not healthy. You've thrown yourself out of health, out of balance for what? Greed. The pursuing of a dream. Look at it, says, have faith in your dreams. This was the first card that came out, the moon card. Have faith in your dreams. I'm going to say it one more time. Have faith in your dreams. When you have faith in something, you don't have to push. You do have to engage, and you do have to believe, and you do have to be consistent, but you do not have to be obsessive, and you should not. How many times in your life has somebody called you obsessive? I'll give you a few seconds to count, but a few seconds is not enough. This is our pitfall, and this is an observable demonstration of when we have become out of balance, when we are obsessing over something. That is a demonstration, observable demonstration that we have thrown ourselves out of balance. When we're obsessing over a person, when we're obsessing over a concept, when we're obsessing over a business, when we're obsessing over a job, we've thrown ourselves out of balance, and we need to get ourselves in balance. And I know it because I did a daily yesterday. Please go watch my Instagram feed, born_without_boundaries. You'll see it. It was yesterday's daily. I do a daily there every single day, Monday through Friday, unless I'm on here doing a daily. And it revealed a lot. And I felt like it's not always a very personal reading, but I felt like it was a very personal reading, like God coming through and saying, this is what's up, Michelle. And so now this is what's up with our reading. The blockage in your life is coming from your lack of attention to the other extreme. I have been obsessed with my business. This is all it's been. Like I've not dated. I have not fallen in love. I've not even been interested. Don't even give a fuck. It's all about business and how am I making money. Okay. I've been in that mode for too long. And there's a block. There's a block. There's a block. Both sets of cards. There's a block. Boom. Blocking me. Boom. That block is not coming from some evil on the outside. It's coming from the evil in me. Because what is evil? It is the intentional throwing off of equilibrium, of balance. I am not supposed to be all about business. I am supposed to be connection, love, taking care of people. That's what I'm supposed to be. I'm not supposed to be all about that. Part of me is supposed to be about getting shit done, moving forward, progress, helping others make progress. I have shut that side of me completely down, and I'm wondering, why is this blockage with my business? I'm putting all my energy in my business. Well, cardinal signs have so much fucking energy that if they put all their energy in one place, there isn't a conduit big enough to let it all through. The secret to being a cardinal sign and actually manifesting what you desire is to be able to have different, almost like runoff canals for your energy. It's almost like think about the Colorado River and the Grand Canyon. I just saw this on my trip across country. It's not one canyon. It looks like a branch, almost lungs, like a tributary branching off. Because the Colorado is so much energy. It had, for its own sake, in its own existence, had to spring out. Cardinals need those runoffs because we would literally destroy any portal we tried to move through. If we tried to take all our energy and just shove it through, we'd ruin it. And the point isn't to ruin it, it's to make it better, especially as a Cancerian. Well, we have run into an impasse about something that is extremely important to us. Extremely important to us. We wanted long-term success and commitment, but bam, fucking mountain in front of you. Fucking mountain. Fucking mountain. You know what it is? You know what it is? It's us ignoring that other side of us. This is emotional, right? You're scared of the shadiness of other people. Somehow deep down inside, I'm scared of the shadiness of other people, them eventually hurting me, stabbing me in the back. I haven't made new friends in years. I just talked to my best friend yesterday. I was like, God, you're the last friend that I made, and that was almost 10 years ago. So this has actually been going on for a long time, hasn't it, Michelle? Yeah. And it's not just me, I know it's you. If you've hit an impasse, and this is why the cards are coming out, you've hit an impasse because you have been too extreme in one or the other. And the extremity in one, right, is actually the blockage of that one. You're thinking, I'm putting all my energy into this. Shouldn't something be happening? No, because honestly, now you've made it a point of defense. You're assaulting that other thing. That's what it feels like with all that energy coming up against it. You're talking almost atomic energy coming up against it. It's all going to inevitably be destructive. It can't let you in. It's got to defend itself. You want to get in, you want to flow through, you want to open up that flow. What you have to do is you have to sift some of that water, that energy, and the flow, the energy off in the other direction. You have to start paying attention to the other side of yourself. Right now, I'm the little crab, gasping for air, dry as fuck, stuck on this huge rock up in the sand, just basically becoming like Crab Scampi. Others of you are literally water in your lungs, sinking to the bottom of the ocean, completely drowning yourself in your emotion. The point is, very few of us are in that tide. That place where things change. That place where we can let things go. Because there's a different energy and a new experience every 2.5 days. We can relate to different experiences. We don't have to keep things one experience. Why do we do this? Our fear. Our fear of getting hurt, our fear of disappointment, our fear of being the one that is responsible for not getting what we want. Self-fulfilling prophecy. That's exactly what's happening. We are responsible for not getting what we want. Because our fear of letting ourselves get hurt, of letting ourselves fail. But failing is the ebb and flow. Failure is that part of life, and failure is really not an ending. Failure is a part of success. It's just the few steps before it. It's not a permanent place. It's a stop sign. I've said this, I've shared this analogy with you a lot. It's a stop sign. We don't build our house at a stop sign. We take in new information and then we proceed on. Well, we've stayed stuck at a stop sign. And where we have decided to butt heads and push up against and force all our energy, it's the thing that's being neglected that's actually the key to allowing the door to be open, because you're taking the pressure off the door and now you're knocking nicely. And there's enough room for you to get through. There's a balance that has to be restored. This is the block to our dreams. This is the block. It is good news, actually, because it is coming from our own fear of our failure, our lack of success, being able to be good at something, trying so hard at one thing that we end up destroying it because we've put too much energy into it. And inevitably, that much energy, Hiroshima. It's like, and it's not a laughable topic, but it's just so destructive. We are made, Libra is cardinal sign, blunt. Got to keep those scales in balance, right? But that can be an obsession for Libra. Right? Being so obsessed with keeping things in balance, thinking it's all up to you to keep things in balance, and not realizing that, no, it's actually partially up to other people too. And we can't compensate for their lack of participation. That's actually helping them to continue to tip the scales in the wrong direction. If we help them with the imbalance by compensating for them, we're just prolonging the unhealthy situation. Sometimes things have to topple. It's hard for a Libra to accept it. It's hard for a Capricorn to accept that they cannot get something done. Relinquishing control. Allowing other people to help. That this mountain, that this skyscraper is really not all yours to build. Delegate. And then Aries, the atomic of the atomic, right? The fire sign of the cardinal. I want it, I go for it. Not realizing that you're burning yourself up in the process. And if there's nothing left of you once you get there, what have you really done? But wreaked havoc, insisting upon something that wasn't even good for you. So for cardinal signs, it is our lifelong struggle to find that balance point. And for Cancers, perhaps it's the easiest because it's the most obvious. We are where the waves meet the sand. We may get frustrated by the push and pull, but we could also get excited about it. We could also get energized by it. You know, that push and pull is energy itself. And it's also a lovely way to be able to experience different things and never get bored. But when we throw ourselves intentionally off balance, there becomes a block. This is why we get blocked. Because when we put all of our energy into something, it's almost an assault on that something. That something has nothing to do but defend itself because there's too much energy. There's nothing that can handle the full-on energy of a cardinal sign. Not even another cardinal sign. We'll end up destroying each other. Two cardinal signs want to make it work. It's got to be two cardinal signs that know themselves well enough to know how to keep themselves in balance, or else they'll just fucking destroy each other. However, because all cardinal signs square each other, they can be your greatest teachers on how to find the balance and why you need to find the balance. And reminders that this is what happens when we get thrown out of balance. My best friend is a Capricorn. It's helpful. And I know I help her. You know, squares are not necessarily bad. They're challenges. They're consummate lessons. Mars is in Aries. Saturn is in Capricorn. Where is the moon right now? I gotta check that. I'll figure it out. Venus is not in Libra. It's still in Leo. But Saturn and Mars are, interestingly enough, in their home. And they're in retrograde. I think the lesson here is we all gotta just take a freaking chill pill. And know, here's your answer. I thought my 24 minutes, I haven't even gotten into the main reading. Cancer, the block in your life, the block to your success is coming from your lack of attention to that other side. Allow the drain off. Start healing yourself. Start helping yourself. Get back to both the water and the land. Because the truth is this. I know you're afraid to trust people. You're afraid of disappointment. You're afraid of failure, of being the one that didn't do enough. It's not about just you. You have to trust somebody else. And that's why cardinal signs, unfortunately, do so well on their own. even Libras, until they find that one person that they need in their life. And then they're all about them. But cardinal signs do very, very well on their own when they're unhealthy. When we basically have lost that sense of, I can trust other people to help me out here. And for what it looks like, Cancerians, there's a sense of lack of love. A lack of love, a lack of tenderness, maybe a lack of, mean girls and backstabbing bitches. A lack of social interaction. Very unhealthy for us. It really is what is not coming from the other side that is hurting us. But it's because we have basically made a big old black hole where the other side would come in by putting all our energy on the opposite direction. We don't know the suction that that's having and the force it's having toward the breakthrough we want to make. It's defending itself. It's scared. Now it's time for us to be scared. Do that thing which is very difficult to do, especially with something that's precious to you, which is to trust. Not let it go completely. Like, no, you're not I'm not abandoning my business. But like, trust. I really have done not only all that I can do, but I've done more than I can do. More than I ever should have done. And I've neglected so many other parts of myself because of it. And that's what's actually helping the block. It's like the suction is keeping the door stuck. That's why it's not letting us open. Because it's the pressure from that sort of black hole that's just sucking everything. You know what I'm saying? It's like we're building up our own, almost like, I don't know, like I said, not an engineer, like vacuum, where there's so much pressure built up against the door now, there's no way it's going to open. It's a life lesson. And this year was about learning lessons and learning about those aspects of yourself that are self-defeating, those things that are good. This is really what this year was about. All those things you assumed were good that are actually really bad for you because they're not balanced. Because they don't incorporate others into the strategy, because they don't leave room for movement, for change, for mistakes. We've gotten too extreme. Kit, hold on. Little blip. I'm sorry. I had a naughty puppy that I had to... She messed up the house. So, as I was doing this, I was thinking of a scenario. How many times in your life have you sent a text that you know exposes the way that you feel about somebody and experienced a complete and total sense of absolute annihilation and depression when you didn't get a response in 2 seconds? If you're a Cancer of any kind, you've experienced this sensation. 100%. It can really mess us up, this kind of extremism in relationships, because what it does is it's almost like, well, we have to do it all. All the love, all the caretaking, all the nurturing. If we don't do it, nobody will. That's absolutely not true. And it stems from, a lot of times, an emotional deficiency. You think, I've done all that I can do. I've sent this text. I've let myself be vulnerable. We hate being vulnerable. I've let myself be vulnerable. I've done all that I can do. And now look, there's no response. But you haven't done all that you can do. because you haven't had faith. Not just faith in them, faith in the fact that you are beautiful, you do deserve love, you are worthy of love, your emotions are beautiful, and they're worthy of respect and love, and they don't have to be a point of vulnerability. They could just be a point of truth and strength when shared. So you haven't done all that you can do when you press send, because you're not partaking in that faith. You're not partaking in that self-worth. You're not partaking in knowing that they'll get back to me when they can get back to me. I've put it out there and it will come back. What I'm saying now is, Cancerians, we've put it out there. It will come back. It will not come back if we keep pushing against it. It will literally be stuck on the other side, because we're actually creating a vacuum of energy that is forcing that door to stay shut. Let it go. Get back to the tide. Don't go the opposite direction. That's just as bad. Any extreme is bad. Go back to the tide. Go back to that silly little area that nobody else understands, but that is home to us. Go back to that playfulness, that curiousness, that unpredictability. Go back to it. It's yours. It's where you belong. Now, this is already a half hour. I'm going to pull these cards real quick, and then I need you to do your angel messages too. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, okay. Interesting. Two extremes. One fell out on this side. One fell out on this side. We have extremes. You have see the big picture and magic works through you. This is beyond perfect. I can't even tell you. Then you have Piscean energy, the water. You have the earth and you have the water. Two freaking extremes, and literally they fell out on opposite sides. I didn't even do it on purpose. But this is a sense of seeing the future, knowing the future, predicting the future by creating the future, knowing that the magic works through you, the side of us that is pragmatic, the side of us that is earth, the side of us that is get things done, let's build things, let's do things, let's make things happen. And these are very beautiful energies. There's not only nothing wrong with those energies, they're amazing. We have them, boom, there. Interesting on our left hand, because our left hand is actually the receiving hand and the right hand is actually the giving hand. Interesting. Turn knowledge into wisdom, watch and wait. That's come out on the right, which you think would be the left because it's the more feminine energy, right? No. What we need to give now is more patience, more faith. And what we need to take now is open up space to receive it from other people. These 3D resources, these tangible responses have to come in from outside now. It's like once you cast the spell, magic works through you, right? Once you cast the spell, you got to let the spell now becomes the ethers and the universe, right? You can't follow the spell and micromanage every single second of it. You've cast it out. This is also a sense of we're about to receive. We are. Interestingly enough, the dream interpretation cards, all of these are in front of me. A ton of them came out, and I was yelling at angels. I don't understand. You don't understand because you're freaking blocked, Michelle, because all the irritations are actually you, yourself, not understanding. Right behind, these were the first cards that came out. I put them back away. I said, angels, I don't get it. They gave me these. And I did understand them a little bit better. I understood their voice. I understood what they meant. But when I went back in, when I realized what the first set of cards had said, right underneath them was this. Love is connection. I don't want you to go right to romance like too many of you do. But I also don't want to exclude it like I do too many times. Love is connection. And what we need now is love. Connection to the other side of things. We really have done almost too much. We got to let it go. Not let it go, like just let it go, but like loosen up the cord. Put our energy in other places now. Like, don't put the energy all in one place. Connection, connectivity, allowing people to come from the other side. Like that door to not be stuck closed because you're pushing so hard against it. Like literally, there's probably somebody on the other side just waiting right now, wanting to get through to you. But they can't. That mountain is all that pressure you've built up for yourself. It needs a little bit of a relief valve. Think about it that way. Don't think about giving up. You're not giving up, but you're a little bit of a relief valve. So it's not so much pressure, not so much pushing, so that you can make room for that door to open because it wants to. This is really long. I apologize for the length of this. Yes, there absolutely will be. Creative potential has come out. I love you, angels. Creative potential was the one that showed itself first. So let's read that first. You are by nature infinitely creative. Life is a sea of creative potential just waiting to be expressed through you. You are free to express all your heart's desires. There's so much that wants to come out. I get it. Sometimes it's hard to not let it all out at once. But this was the magical card. Middle path. It's like, because they're constantly listening. Embrace both sides. The middle path is the road to a balanced and more peaceful life. This isn't just a suggestion for us. This is the medicine. This is the way. And anytime we stray too far to the extremes, we get unhealthy. And what did I say? Oh, I love you, angels. Do not lose faith. The storm clouds will soon clear and the sun will shine once more. Follow me over to the extended. The link is below.